Hey guys, Matt here. Welcome back to this week's portfolio update. And this update, this could be a slight continuation from last week. Now I'm going to try to keep this video short because holiday weekend and all that, but we'll see what happens. But basically, the TLDR and as far as last week's video, but if you want the full things, watch up here. But the short version is that I'm restructuring my portfolio very slowly over the next year or so, depending on how the market conditions go. I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative, a little bit more value instead of just, pumping in the hot stocks and all that stuff. Now, as you can see, I already bought VOO. Now, the plan is to pump money into VOO and SCHD each week for the time being. And eventually, I want to make these positions the biggest positions in my portfolio. And then, as I mentioned last week, I'm going to keep about 5 or 6 individual stocks, and I'm going to hold on to them. And the rest of the stocks, I'm not selling anything right away. It's basically as we get out of these poor market conditions and these stocks get back to normal, at that point, if a stock I don't keep gets to a point I don't want to keep, gets to a point where I feel comfortable with the money I made, at that point, I will sell, take profits, and rotate that money into one of the 2 ETFs. Now, I haven't completely decided on everything, but there are a few positions that I want to keep. The first one is Google. Now, Google is a position that I got in relatively recently, but I've been adding a lot of money to it. I mean, over the months, and this is a stock that, let's be honest, it makes all of its makes all of its money and ad revenue, and given inflation and all that stuff, and how much everything else is costing. Yeah, I can see why Google is suffering right now. But I mean, we all know that. I mean, once the inflation things ends and the Fed rate hikes slow and eventually stop, like, we all know that ads are going to come back. I mean, it's inevitable because, I mean, when things get tight, one of the first things that companies slash is their ad budgets, and as things come back, those companies are going to increase their ad budgets again. And so, I mean, me holding on to Google for the time being, such a huge company with a price like this, I mean, we're talking statistics. It's still got a 4 PE of 18, which for a company like Google I think is phenomenal. And so, yeah, Google is a company I definitely plan on holding, even when I rotate everything else. Another stock I'm planning on holding is at&t. Now, as far as this position, I've come a long way with this. I bought this back when it was in the 30s and then late 20s. It was doing really well. Then it did the Warner Media thing. And yeah, it's a real pain in the ass to own. But I mean, it's come a long way as far as shedding off all of its assets that were dragging the company down, becoming a much leaner company. And I'm really watching this company do a lot more as far as earnings, with a lot less earning as far as revenue. The performance is coming up. The numbers are coming up. Now, as far as analyst estimates, yeah, they have these things dropping. But, I mean, given the story behind it, at&t becoming a leaner company and taming its debt, I personally think that this company will be fine and will continue to improve over the years. Now, like I said, I bought this company for dividends and not necessarily for growth, so the price doesn't matter to be that much. But I do like seeing this company, get better and better over time. We'll see if that sticks. But yeah, I'm going to be holding at&t. The last company that I want to talk about today is GEVO. Now, this is a company that I plan on holding as a spec play throughout the years, at least until 2030. Now, its performance has been absolutely god awful. But I plan on holding this as a spec play. I want one of my individual stocks to be kind of a weird one, and GEVO is going to be that weird one. Now, despite me calling GEVO weird, and despite me admitting that its performance has been absolute garbage, one thing that GEVO is going for is a bunch of huge companies, airlines, signing deals with GEVO. Now, the GEVO doesn't have to go out and find the customers. It already has the customers, and these customers that have already signed take-or-pay agreements in which that they either go through with it as long as GEVO does their end of the work, or these companies will pay GEVO money. And the only thing GEVO has to do, and this is something that we have to make sure GEVO does, is build the Net Zero One plant, which is the plant that's supposed to build all the SAF for these companies. And we're talking GEVO going from, like, we're talking a few hundred K revenue to they're expecting 2.3 billion in expecting revenue per year, starting in 2025, I believe. So the drawback is we got to wait for 2025 for this the good stuff to start. And yeah, so I plan on holding GEVO for that long. Now, because it's a spec play, I don't plan on adding any more money to this position, no matter how low it goes or anything like that. So I got to keep this as a spec play. I want to keep this position small. And besides, there are other positions I want to put my money into. Now, you will note I only listed 3, and that's because I'm still deciding on the last 2 or 3 positions. Meta is a strong candidate, but I gotta wait and see what happens with the whole metaverse thing. And now I know that since Meta runs on ads, and just like Google, once ads come back, once ad budgets get full again, like Meta is going to come back. So I have no problem at all holding Meta and adding to this position eventually. We just need to wait and see what happens with the whole metaverse. Now, as a cyberpunk aficionado or whatnot, I'm really, really looking forward to this. But as far as an investor, yeah, I kind of got to wait and see how this ends up. Palantir is a good one. FTX is definitely a good one. Tesla is definitely a good one. As far as Verizon, it's potentially a good one. But, I mean, SHD, one of its positions is Verizon. So I'm thinking once this goes back to some substantial gains, I might rotate into that. But we'll see how it goes. What positions do you think I should hold? Let me know in the comments. But anyways, take care, have a great day, and eat your vegetables.